it's your star goddess. Okay, so I'm here to talk about. There's a lot of witches and magicians and people that practice magic who don't know any other witches or people that practice magic in the real world, in their everyday life. They don't know anybody, and it gets lonely. It gets lonely, and so a lot of witches turn to the internet to meet other witches, and that's fine. But sometimes you just want to talk to someone else that's just here with you. And you can't find anybody but people on the internet. So, and there's, might not be a lot of people in your circle or your family that are on the path that you're on. And I recommend, for the solitary practitioner, I recommend reading a lot. Because when you read a lot, you're gaining knowledge, and you're not looking for voids to fill because you're filling your knowledge. And I've noticed that there's a lot of witches who gravitate more towards the material side of the craft, and they procure things, crystals, books, tools, and all this stuff, and they learn loosely on certain subjects instead of deeply on certain subjects. And so this is why a lot of witches grow really bored of their craft sometimes and want to stop doing their craft for a little while. They get burnt out. And the reason they get burnt out is because they're filling a void with material things and playing a part almost, instead of actually delving into the knowledge behind the craft. And I'm not putting anyone down, because I used to do the same thing. So I'm guilty of it, okay? And I'm going to tell y'all how to get out of it. I'm going to tell y'all how to get out of it, because you'll see all these witches. Okay, just if you're one of them, I'm not bashing you, because I used to be one of them, okay? If you're one of those witches that have 1,000 sets of tarot cards, thousands of sets of tarot cards, hundreds of sets, maybe 10, 15, different types of tarot cards, and you don't do readings, what have you just done? What have you done? If you don't do readings for people, and you have all these cards laying around your house, what is the purpose of them? This is why you're burnt out. Because you've spent all this energy, all this money on things that cannot be returned to you. Meaning, you get nothing out of these cards, but you put something into these cards. So even if you have to do free readings, darlings, use your cards. Put the energies into your cards, into the things that you've purchased. Get to know the cards. Study tarot. Meditate with the cards. Get to know the cards and use them. Don't just let them sit up there. Get the energy back out of them. You might help somebody. You might give someone some direction just by giving them a reading, okay? And maybe once you get super good, you can start charging and making a profit off of reading. You can do that online, like I do. And like when witches buy books, they just buy a bunch of books, right? And sometimes they'll get to chapter 3, chapter 2, and then they'll put it away, and then they'll buy a new book. When you get bored of the same book, this is what you need to do. You need to read 3 books at the same time. Because when you get bored of one book and you don't want to read it anymore, you pick up the next book and you read it, okay? And you don't buy any more books until those books are done. Even though the cover looks nice, you saw a video on this book and you think it looks interesting, don't buy it until you finish that book. Because you've bought that book, you put your money, you put your energy into it, but you didn't get much out of it because you didn't finish it. Get the energy back out of it. Get the knowledge out of it. It's going to make you a more stronger, powerful person. Knowledge is power. So if you have trouble finishing things, do 2, 3 at a time. If you find one book that you like and it's more interesting, you'll at least finish one. If not, you'll have 3 times the partial knowledge as you would have had by not finishing one book, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then a lot of witches get, pulled into crafting, and they've become a crafter, but they don't put any type of spirituality in their crafting anymore. And I have a solution for that. When you craft, if you're crafting, always make it a spiritual environment. That way, you'll associate crafting with spirituality, and it's sort of a meditation. If you light candles, burn incense, and sit in a quiet space while you craft. This is a type of meditation. And while you're crafting, through the vibrations of the music and the incense and all that stuff and the candles and the elements, you're going to reach a certain consciousness while you're crafting. You're going to have certain ideas pop into your head that might not have popped into your head if you didn't have the environment spiritual. So a lot of witches get burnt out on their spirituality because they're only concentrating on one aspect of their spirituality when you're supposed to incorporate all of it together. Because if it's complete, it's not going to leave you burnt out. When you're burnt out, it's because you're focusing on this too much and that not enough. And so you get burnt out in one area. So for example, like I know a lot of witches drink tea. And they're like, okay, tea, the herb is special and da-da-da-da-da-da. And they drink the tea and it's good, but they don't feel any spiritualness out of drinking the tea. So what you do for that, how to fix that, if you're getting burnt out on drinking tea and making tea and not getting the spiritual feeling that you want out of it. When you make the tea, everything is a ritual. Make everything a ritual. Bless your water. Put the intent into the water as you're boiling it. Bless your tea bag. Whatever the herbs are in the tea bag for, say, may this enhance this part of my life and da 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 da. Put it in your teacup. If you use honey or sugar for your tea, when you're squirting the honey in or the tea, say, oh, may this sweeten my life with whatever you want your life to be sweetened with, And then once your tea is made and you get your tea and you make your tea and you're like, got your tea, you smell it. That smell from the herbs and the water and the honey is going to raise your vibration and raise your spirituality. It smells, any type of sensual thing, it's going to raise your vibration. So now you smelled it. Now taste. Now that you know what everything in this cup is for and the intent of it, when you taste it in your mouth, you're taking it into yourself. It's on your tongue. You taste it. You feel it. You smell it. You're vibrating higher now. Okay, this is how you keep from getting burnt out and bored. And you do it with everything. If everything is spiritual, then how can you get bored of it? If you make everything a ritual. Okay, so enough with the tea. The next thing, your look. Okay? I know lots of women get tired of looking the same way, the same thing, same look every day. Okay, and then they feel like since they're a witch, they have to wear certain colors or look a certain way. You don't have to do that. You can be whatever you want to be that day. One day you can be dark and mysterious. The next day you can be light and pretty and airy. You can be straight and blunt and, angular, with your look, with your hair. Or you can be really natural and earthy. You can be everything. You don't have to be just one thing. Okay, that's how a lot of people get burnt out. They get stuck in the same look and they just get burnt out. Be a chameleon. Be, you're a magical being. You're supposed to be able to flow with nature. Sometimes nature is soft and gentle. Sometimes it's, chaotic and stormy. Sometimes it's cold and frigid, and sometimes it's hot and warm. Sometimes it's just a beautiful day, and nature is, everywhere. So be like nature. You are a changing, unstagnant person. You're like the seasons. You can change. Okay? Don't get stuck. When you get stuck, that's when you start feeling like you're dying or depressed or stuck or in a rut. You don't want to ever get stuck, even with spirituality. So make everything a ritual, and you will never get stuck. Now, like when you read, sometimes I know you can't concentrate because you have the internet, you got your phones, you got your iPad, and it's keeping you from reading this book that you purchased. I'm gonna get back to that. But a way to get into your book is to go somewhere sacred or special to read. You need a reading area, and you make it really pretty and nice, even if it's just outside on a bench or inside of a storage or a closet or in your witchy room. Set up some pillows on the floor, get some incense going, leave your computer and phone in the other room, and just carve out 30 minutes a day to do your reading. Light a candle while you're reading. Make it a sacred thing. And, take it with you when you go somewhere instead of taking your iPad. Leave your iPad at home, take your book. If you have a book on the iPad, that's kind of distracting, because you're going to say, oh, I wonder who's on Facebook. And da, 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 da. Try to take your book or, take the app for Facebook off of your thing when you go out. And another thing, like when you get really lonely and you don't have anybody else because you're like a solitary practitioner, that's okay. That's okay, because you never know what chaos or issues you can bring into your life by associating with other people like yourself. First of all, I know a lot of people that do associate with other witches and stuff like that, and they're constantly afraid. Well, I think they're doing something against me because they're hating or they're jealous or they want what I have and now they're putting magic on me. That's all I hear from people that know other witches. So be lucky if you're a solitary practitioner and you don't know any other witches, because you don't have that extra paranoia that comes with other people in your life that do magic. Just look at the bright side of things. And the funny thing about that is, when you do open up and tell someone who you are and what you do, you'll see who your real friends are. Some people will shy away from you and don't call you anymore. And that's another good way to get rid of things that no longer serve you. And, if you have children, those can be your companions. If you have a mate that's into it, they can be your companion. You don't need outside people. You already have what you need inside of you, So, a lot of witches raise their children to do witchcraft with them, or, they give them a choice, or they just teach them about the simple things like herbs and teas and manifesting and stuff like that. Those can be your companions. And plus, they're more pure in heart, so they're not going to be a problem for you. And plus, you've always got the internet, and Skype and all that. So don't worry about that. Feel good. You're exactly where you're supposed to be in life. You don't need this if you don't have it. It's for a reason. Okay. So don't get burnt out spiritually. Change it up. You get bored, put some color in your hair. You get bored, try a new makeup look. You get bored, try a new tea. Walk a new path. Go find some nature trail. Go do something new. When you get stuck, you need something new. New. Not buying something, but doing something with the things you already have that you haven't thought of before. Using your tools in a different way, I know I use the tarot cards, for example. People with all those tarot cards, if you're not using those tarot cards, make some type of use of them. Give them away, give them as gifts. You need that energy to be exchanged, is what I'm saying. You put energy and money into those cards, and you're not getting anything back out of it. So you need to get something out of it. You know, even if it's happiness from a person who you give it to as a gift. Their happiness and their gratitude is energy given back to you from those cards. So if you have too much junk and too much witchy stuff that you don't even use because you're burnt out of your spirituality, and you just say I'm a witch and, you know, wear dark colors and manifest and stuff like that, get more use out of your tools. Get more use out of them, even if it's just giving them away or selling them, you know. I use all of my cards. I use all of my cards because I do different types of readings. And experimenting is fun. Experimenting is fun. You can make up any type of reading you want. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to do this type of reading, and I'm going to use this type of card because the answers in this card will go with this type of reading, you know. And you're giving energy and you're pulling energy, so you're always going to be energized. You're not going to get burnt out, okay? And when you do need to take a break because you feel like, you know, I do this every day. Everybody needs a break. So instead of getting burnt out because you're doing it 7 days a week, 24/7, take a day off. Take one day off. How can you get burnt out off of something if you get days off? You know, there's days where I will go and troll on the internet. You know, there's days when I'll go walk around the mall and do something very superficial, unspiritual. There are days where I will eat ice cream and just unhealthy things. There are days where I will do what I want to do because you need balance, you know. There are days where I will not do one type of magic or ritual or manifest anything. There are days where I will sit on the couch and watch TV the entire day and play on Facebook. Yes, that is my day off. And when my day off is over, I am happy to go back to the spiritual side of me because I have been a sloth, a troll. What else have I been? A glutton. And now when it's time to get back onto my spiritual, you know, aspect of life, I am happy to do so. Understand? So that's my video. I hope y'all liked it. I hope y'all don't get burned out. And I get a lot of inspiration by just watching people's videos. And I hope y'all get inspiration from watching mine. I love watching people just talk and say what's on their mind and giving people ideas. That's another way, if you get burnt out, just start watching other people's videos and see how they're thinking. See what they use in their spirituality. And you can switch yours up, you know. You don't have to be in a box. You can just be everywhere. Okay? Alright, well, I will see y'all. Hold on. And you know, I will see y'all later. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Ta-da! Bye.